back to Raymies garage. I'm still looking at this wheel. So, after many journeys in this car, I'm now totally convinced it's the brake caliper. So I'm going to get the brake caliper off, disconnect it, take it into the wee workshop, and we'll have a look at the pistons more closely, just to see if one of them's sticking, because I'm convinced it's one of them sticking. So get that off and see what it looks like. Well, this is the caliper. Look at the disc. Listen, there's a mark in that. There. We'll try and get it off, because we're just about to have the Scottish weather rain come and hit us. So I'll get an axle stand under there, get that turned, and we'll get it off. Right. Put my glasses on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the banjo bolt here. I'm going to clamp this brake hose off, banjo bolt, two big bolts in there, and we'll take off the brake pad wear sensor. I'm looking at this again. Let's have a closer look at that disc. It does look a wee bit scored there, especially that top area. So that's maybe giving me a step for a hint. It feels okay actually, to be fair, and they're reasonably new. But there's certainly a mark there. Let's have a look in here. I'm just wondering if it's actually scoring it in there. So we'll get this off. See if there's a mark up here and in here. See if there are any pistons been damaged in any way. Right, so we'll proceed to take this off again. Put this on the right way. I'll just take the pads out it, so I will. Punch for a wee pin out. Oh, come on. There we go. That's one pin. Plate off. Second pin. Should be an expert at this. I've done it that often, and this bolt should be fairly slack as well. Yeah, let's lay them all out. Let's see where pads move. They're coming out. These were the Brembo ones I put in. Maybe try and squeeze them back a wee bit. Piston, and I'll take that out while I'm here. Come on, come out, come out, come out. That's one pad out. Let's have a wee look at that. Not much marks on them, not any marks that we can see that's causing any major issues. And there's that one, so that's A2, and pop that off. And a bleed nipple, so I just need to get a wee clamp and clamp that off, and I've got the big socket in there to see if we can get them off. So I'm just going to put a wee clamp around here. Quite handy, these wee clamps. I'll stop the brake fluid from coming out. Seems simple enough, but it seems to work reasonably effectively. And that might not stop at all, but that looks alright. And I wonder if that's a 14. That's a 15, I think. But what we'll do first is we'll crack open these caliper bracketer bolts. That's one. Another one's down here. I think these are 22mm. I see it. There we are. Let's get some. That's that. Pretty tight. Okay, so I'll go and get a, I think it'll be a 14 socket on that. I've got something to catch any brake fluid coming out here. Stick that under there. And the 14. Just use this ratchet to take the banjo clip off. Watch it don't drip brake fluid everywhere. That should just wiggle out there. I will have to bleed the brakes after this, so there we are. So you can see there's not much coming out of the banjo bolt. There is a wee tiny copper washer on that, which has just fell, the crush washer. So I'll just try and put that back there, although we've got spares in that. And it's just a matter of buzzing this caliper off, and it is quite heavy, so I think I'll start with the bottom one, getting that off. That's bolt number one. And this will be the tricky part, I think. Just holding this into position. And that should fall off. And there it is. Caliper. So let's get this into the wee workshop. Just got to watch, there's going to be brake fluid coming out of that side. I'll get that emptied. So looking at the disc, it does look as if there's, maybe it's just dust on it, wear on it. Let's get some light on that. So there is score marks there, see that? Don't know how well the camera's picking that up. Just at that point there. So, anyway, let's get the caliper in. Just in the bucket now, and we'll see how we got on with that. So that's us got the caliper off. I've got some WD-40 in here, and more so this one here. This is the bleed nipple that nobody ever takes off, and I've just plugged up my banjo bolt cover there just to stop the brake fluid leaking out for now. So I mean, it looks in okay condition. It's not that long ago before I had put these new pistons and seals in there. So I'm just going to try and see if I can start moving them. What I will do first though is I'll give these a wee bit of time to penetrate. I'm not too worried about that one. I'm more worried about that one there. I think I've probably tried that before and ended up abandoning it, because you end up having to either drill it out or weld a nut on top of it to try and get it out. And that's where we're at. A big caliper, 6 pistons. There are actually 3 different size of pistons in there, believe it or not. So there is different diameters. You'll see that when we took it off the last time, but I'll give this maybe a wee clean up and we'll get working on this caliper just to try and eliminate that. But now that I've seen the caliper off, there's definitely a mark on that disc. The only thing I can think is if it's up here somewhere, it's marking the disc, but I'll have a look at that. So I'm just going to try and attempt to take this one out. And it's normally an 11mm, which is turning, and I've got a wee 10mm, which just won't go on. So I've got one of these nut removal tools. It seems like a pretty decent fit on it, and this is the moment where it makes or breaks us. So I'll give this a wee turn. Oh, it's moving, yeah, it moved. Excellent, excellent. There we go, got it off. Let's see if we can get this off now. Yeah, it's a bit crusty, so I might get a couple of new bleeding nipples for that. But at least we've got it on, or sorry, got it off. Get some of that crud out of there. So that's a good sign, at least I can get that bled when I'm putting it back on again. And if I can get it back in. Yeah, so the other thing, I did another look at those brake discs, and I can get a set of Brembo brake discs for this car with a wee bit of discount for Euro car parts for £120, believe it or not. Well, 124. So I was tempted to go and buy them and put new discs in there, but I'll leave it there now, because if I put the discs on and I fix this, I'll not know what's caused the problem. So that's where we're at least we've got that out. That one's slack. It's the 11mm. Yeah, it's pretty slack there. I'll just tighten that back up again and I'll get all the brake fluid out. So that's good. We've got the 2 bleed nipples off, and these calipers, most people just bleed it from here. I think it is the one whole chamber in there, but it's good to get the other one off as well. Normally what I would do is blow compressed air into that and blow them out. Let's do that. Let's get set up for that. Right, so what we've got here is I've put all the 2 bleed nipples back in and the banjo bolt in. I've got a bit of wood in here. I've drained as much of the brake fluid out as I can, and what I'm looking for here is when I put this hose onto one of the brake nipples, which is the air from the air compressor, if I can ever get it on here. I did have it on a minute ago. Okay. Oh, come on. Right, that's come on, you go, there you go. So we've got that hose there, linked to our air gun. I'm just going to get a wee jag. Get some air in it. Take it off that side, put it on there. Right, train, here we go. 3, 2, 1. See it moving a wee bit. It's taking a huge amount of pressure to get that off there. I've certainly seen the wood moving a wee fraction. Right, let's try that again. Try and keep that on this time. Keep that on. So you've seen there, only one piston moved, that one there. That's the only piston that moved. I would have expected at least the other ones to move, but if that's the path of least resistance. If I do that again and it locks the wood up, then the other piston should move. Let's try that again. Just try to hold these on. There's the other piston moving there. I don't see any of the other pistons moving. So that should be kind of solid there, but you've seen that one moving and hopefully seen that one moving. That one didn't. And that one didn't. So what I'm thinking I'm doing next is I'm going to take all the seals out the piston and try and move them. So let me get that back out there again and we'll see if I can take some of the seals off the pistons. Oh, it's too tight. They can't possibly be that tight. That one's moving. I don't know if you've seen that there, but that definitely moved. I'm totally surprised it's like this because I replaced all this not that long ago. I'm wondering now if it's... So you can see that has come right out there. I'm just worried in case I damage that. So I popped this out here just as I put the camera off, and it actually looks okay from a scoring point of view. So it looks like new, to be fair. I'd like to think so because it's not that old in there. However, it was stiff, so it was, and it looks okay. There's a wee bit of scoring there. Maybe that was me marking it. Aye, so the boot looks all right. There we go. That's us. So there's the boot there. Give that a wee clean. It's fine on the inside. Doesn't look damaged in any way. I've felt inside the cylinder of the piston and the O-ring feels fine. So I might try and get the other ones out. Just leave these out. I wouldn't have thought they should have been as tight as that at all. They should slide out there, no problem. That one's coming out. Going out. So what I might do is take all these out, get them all cleaned up, put them back in again, and try it again for noise. That's out now. I did go to Euro Car Parts there, and I got a set of Brembo front brake discs for £124, which I thought was a bargain. So I'll leave them off for now. Put this back together. I don't want to put the new discs on and put this back on, it all goes away, and I don't really figure out what was causing the noise. So there's that one. Looks alright. Yeah, again, no major scoring on that. I better put these in sequence. I'll stick that over there now. That looks fine. I'll put that over there, and we'll try and get that seal out. That's the seal. Right, so I'll proceed and I'll take them all out. I don't want you to sit and watch me boring myself to death with this, and once I've got them all out, I'll get them cleaned up and we'll put them all back in again. Right, so that's me got them all out, and to be honest with you, some of them were quite tight. I can't believe how tight they were. They should be able to push down with your fingers. Cylinders look all okay, all the pistons are all okay, and I'm just wondering maybe there's too much copper grease here, and that copper grease on the back of the pads that I put on there has somehow, I don't know how, made them stiff. But all the O-rings are all fine, so the only thing I can do is degrease that, get all the grease off that, get all the grease off the pistons, and we'll get some red rubber grease for installing this stuff, and we'll put it all back together again and we'll see how free I can get them. They should be fairly easy, as I said, to push in and out. So let's get that all cleaned, degrease that, and we'll then start reassembling them again, and I'll maybe do one at a time and I'll let you see me doing that to see if it makes a difference. Right, that's me got it all degreased. It looks a bit rough and ready, but I should really paint that, but at this point in time I'd rather just figure out to see if I can get the noise to stop. I've cleaned all the O-rings, or the seals in there, and I've cleaned all the boots and all the pistons, and they're generally okay. There are a couple of wee marks from me trying to get them out, but the actual piston itself should be fine. So what we need to do is get some of our rubber grease, red rubber grease. We'll get these lubricated up. We'll get the O-rings back in here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a wee groove in there. Get the O-rings sit in. We'll get them in, and we'll put the boots back on and the pistons back in again, and let's see if we can move them in and out. They certainly were very stiff, so they were, and I'm only putting that down to potentially too much copper grease in there, maybe gritting them up, but I'm finding it hard to understand that. Hey ho! Before we put them in, we'll give them a wee spray, make sure there's no dirt on them, so that there's no dirt slides in and out that piston area there. Right, so let's get started on that. Again, I think I'd mentioned before that there is definitely 3 different sizes of piston in each one of these. That's a smaller one, I think. So I'll get set up, get my gloves on, we'll get that wrapped in rubber grease, we'll get the O-rings in there, or seals, O-ring seals in there, and we'll get the piston in, and we'll put one in, we'll video that, then we'll put the rest of them in, then we're ready to remount the caliper again. This one here is a larger one. I'm just checking the size of that before I put it in. So that's fine. We'll get the O-ring, which goes in here. That looks fine. I've got some of our red grease. And these are a bit awkward to put in, to be honest with you. You've got to get them in there, so my hands might be in the road, so we'll see how we go. And it's messy as well, but it allows us to lubricate that and let the pistons slide in and out. I'm sure we've done a couple of videos with these brakes, so I have. It might have been an Apprentice Pat's car. Right, that's sat in there. I know it's hard to see that. It basically sits in a wee recess in there. I've got a wee bit more grease in there. Then we get our piston and our seal. Give these a wee blow out. Dog hairs on it, and our piston. going to do is we're going to put the piston in there before we try and put it into position. So I'm going to get a wee bit of rubber grease around here, get it nice and lubricated. Not copper grease, rubber grease. And that goes over here like that, pops on through that, and that sits in that O-ring, and that goes in like so. Then the seal goes over the top of it. They're quite awkward, they should push in. There you go. You've probably never seen that actually. There we go. So that's in. Let me just try and put that there. I now can't get the piston out, but it's literally slid in. No problemo. I've got this one here. Another seal, so I've got plenty of grease in my gloves. Let's see if I can get us putting this one in. Sliding in properly. Come on, there you go. I'm sure the last time we done this, we spent ages getting it in and it wouldn't fit, and just discovered that in actual fact it was the wrong piston getting in there. Let me just check that out first. Yeah, that's the right piston for that. So it's a bit time consuming doing this. It's all about feel. I can feel it in there. It keeps twisting on me. Right, that's us. Felt it pop in there. I've got some rubber grease in that. And again, we'll put our rubber grease round our piston where the boot sits. Get that all greased up there. That's clean. I'll just give that a wee rub. Put the boot over the piston. It sits like that. Now that should slide in here. And I'm trying to just capture that there. Just gently push it and away it goes in beautifully. Slides in there, no problem at all. And the boot just goes round that area there. Aye, so they're quite good. They're moving freely. And I think when I'm finished I shall do that test where I put the air in there. I wonder if that's actually sitting in there properly. This one doesn't seem like it. So that's two in. I'll just do this last one. Again, a wee bit of red rubber grease. Put that in. So I tend to try and do the bit at the top. I'm holding that with my finger, pushing the rest of the O-ring in. 3/4 of the way in. Oh, that's us. Sat in there nicely. It's hard to see, as I said. And this one, a wee bit of rubber grease on that, on the piston. And again, we put our boot over it. Pop it on. There we go, sits in nicely, and we'll get that piston in there. That feels a wee bit tight, that actually. There we go. That's that side on. his gloves off. That's all nice and clean in there. I'll get the light over and be able to see that better. It's all nice and clean. Seals are all in okay. That one looks a wee bit as if it's protruding there. So what we'll do is I will get the other 3 seals on and get them in position, and I might actually blow them back out as I said. So we've got all the pistons back in, all cleaned up and degreased on the outside. I've set my air line up. I've got the 2 bleed nipples in at this side. I've got the air line here and the gun. And what I'm going to be looking for now is to see how many pistons move out this time and see how easily it does it. Here we go. There you go. Every one of them. So every single one moved. I'll just give them another wee jag. So that should be fairly tight in there. So I'm pretty happy with that. It certainly moved a bit better than it did the last time. So just a wee bit stiff. So there you go. Just put that as the road. And these ones certainly moved out. And these are obviously the slackest ones, so it's pushing them first. I could have probably put more pressure on there and got them all to move. I just want to see if this can catch this moving back in. See how easy that moves in your hand, look. It slides in nice and gently. There you go, look at that one's slack as there. I've noticed these wee outsider ones are a wee bit tighter. Not so much that one, let's see this one. There you go. I mean, you're doing this with the brakes on that's full of brake fluid and you push one in, you tend to find one of them will push back out again. But they're pretty good. Now all I've got to do is put it back on the car and put the pads back in, rebuild it again. I'll need to bleed the brakes. I might do that tomorrow, and then we'll take it back out on the road to see if what's been happening is one of these smaller pistons have been sticking out and not retracting back. Although they won't retract back, but they shouldn't be rubbing on the pad constantly like that. Okay, that's that for that. We'll get ourselves sorted, we'll get it rebuilt, and we'll get it back on the car. Here we are, next day. We've got the caliper back on. All sorted, both bleed nipples worked fine. I've got the brakes bled, everything's back in position. So all I'm going to do now is stick the wheel back on and take it for a wee test drive. Right, so here we are, the moment of truth. Brake pedal feels good. Just waiting on this car passing. Well, I can tell right away the noise is still there. Oh god. I thought I'd have eliminated that, but I can definitely hear the noise. Not sure if you guys can hear it. I'll just take it along here and round the roundabout and back. Definitely there. interesting. The other thing is, I'm making the assumption it's the left wheel. It certainly feels as if it's coming from that point. Well, it sounds like that in the car. It's coming from that area. So we'll go back to Raymies garage and we'll pull this wheel off, stick a new disc on it and take it another test drive. I've not got time to do that today, so I'm going to leave that for during the week, and I'll give you a wee update during the week when we've done that to see if it's fixed that noise. So that's it for now, guys. I know it's a wee bit long, that one, and still trying to figure out what this noise is because it's quite annoying, and I'll give you an update during the week. Cheers for now.